Angela Hernandez, 23 years old, went missing in 2018 after she accidentally drove off a 200-foot cliff in California. She does not remember much about the accident. She does not remember hitting her head, fracturing ribs and her collarbone or losing air from one of her lungs. But she does remember waking up trapped in her SUV in the Pacific Ocean and the 7 long freaking days that she fought to survive. On 6th of July 2018, Angela was driving through the Big Sur area on her way to Southern California when she saw a small animal on the highway and changed direction to miss it. She wheeled off the edge of a cliff and crashed about 200 feet below, where the ocean meets a rocky beach that is mostly isolated from those who are driving above. The only thing she remembered after that was waking up. She was still in her car and she could feel water rising over her knees. Her head hurts and when she touched it, she found blood on her hands. She said her windows were rolled up and the power was out. She took off her seatbelt and found a multi-tool she kept near her front seat. She started hitting the driver's side window with it and every bone in her body was hurting. Once the window was broken, she said she jumped into the water and swam until she reached the shore. Then she said she passed out, but she does not know for how long. When she woke up, it was still daylight, and it was only then that he had finally realized what had happened. She stood up onto her feet and noticed a huge pain in her shoulders, hips, back and thighs. She saw nothing but rocks, the ocean and a cliff that she knew she would never be able to look over. She could see her car not too far away, half washed up on shore with the roof ripped off. The next several days were no doubt a nightmare. Angela said that she had no shoes, only socks that had become ridden with holes and jeans that were ripped to shreds, so she avoided the spiky sand, stepping instead across the sun-baked rocks as she searched the shore for help. She was sunburned, hungry and dehydrated. She survived using a hose from her car to catch water dripping from moss or rocks. But up above, authorities were searching for Angela, who had been reported missing while traveling from Oregon to California. The county sheriff's office said in a statement that she had last been seen on surveillance July 6th driving her white 2011 Jeep down Highway 1 in the Big Sur area. A public information officer for the sheriff's office told the Washington Post that the heavy fog from the coast might have made it more difficult for first responders to spot her and the wrecked pieces. But down below, Angela was there. She said she spent her days watching cars on the road, but no one seems to see her and they were probably too far away to hear her screams for help. She could see cars driving across the cliff and felt like if she could yell just loud enough that one could see her. That's all it would take to make it back to her family. Just one freaking person noticing her. At night, she slept and dreamed about being rescued. She said she even imagined the face of the person who would eventually find her. But it would be two faces, Chet and Chelsea Moore, because 7 days after the accident, two hikers were scouting out a spot for some fishing Friday when they saw a car bumper, then a smashed car. There weren't any signs of people or blood or anything, Chelsea Moore told the station, but she said just to be sure, her husband went searching for bodies. It looked like there wouldn't have been any survivors. The couple walked up the beach, collecting items that had spilled from Angela's car, and that's when they found her hidden in the rocks. Angela was right there in the rocks, just looked like hell. But she was happy at the same time. She was happy to see them. The couple asked her, "Were you in that smashed Jeep?" And she said, "Yeah, that was my Jeep." And at that point, the couple just kind of panicked, like, "Oh my God, you were in that car we just saw and you were alive?" Angela said that when she saw the couple, she first thought it was merely another dream. Then she screamed, "Help!" and then got up as quickly as she could and ran over towards the woman. The couple acted quickly. Chelsea ran down the beach and up a trail to go find some help, while Chad stayed with Angela and gave her fresh water. He told her they were a married couple who loved the ocean and had been exploring when they had come across her destroyed vehicle. The county sheriff's office said in a statement that Angela had been found by two people walking in the area who called 911. Her vehicle, police said, was partially in the water. First responders rowed down to Angela, treated her, and then dragged her back up from the beach. She was transported to a hospital and treated for her injuries. Angela wrote on Facebook that doctors later told her she had suffered a brain hemorrhage, fractured 4 ribs and her collarbone, and that she had a collapsed lung and split blood vessels in both eyes, among other injuries. She said that she is grateful that the couple found her on the beach and she couldn't believe that they were even real. Damn, that girl was solid like a rock. That's it for today. Stay tuned and see you next time. Take care.